Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter, and we got a great show on tonight. We got Jason Dietsch that is going to be joining us. He runs the Factory Stock Showdown class, and he was able to actually pick up not one, but two wins this past weekend up in Joliet. That's right. He picked up the win from the rain-delayed Gatornationals and then went on to win again at the Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals presented by Peak. But before we bring him on, we have a few commercials, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at bigstuff3efi.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Jason, I want to thank you for joining us today. I mean, wow, what a great weekend that you had last week. I mean, you go out there to Joliet and, you know, you're all preparations of getting ready for the Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 Nationals. But y'all had to finish up Gainesville. I mean, y'all had to wait months and months to be able to finish up the race from there. And you were able to come out on both occasions. So what was that feeling like for you?
Well, it was a long time coming in between there. You know, you're down to the final four, and so you got 2-3 months there to sit there and think about how you can win it or how you can lose it. And so we got running and it got by our first component, so we made it to the finals and went the finals up to a good buddy of mine, Lenny Loddick. And we got Lenny, so we got the first one, and I mean it was unreal, to win my first big Wally and get the Gator and all that stuff is it was just unreal. And then the next day, we know we're gonna be racing the next day and go through the field like that, and I had to go by my son. Got in the semifinals, and it was a heck of a race. It was like 0.016 difference, and then come up against Hartman in the finals and got him by a 0.005. So there was no give me. It was tough. Tough.
Yeah, because I believe no, wait a minute. The first one was performance. You had I think you had them on the tree for the Gatornationals one, and I think you won by like 200ths. And then the second race, I believe you had him again on the tree by 100th or possibly 200th, and he had you by 100th on ET, I believe. So you got about a whole shot. Is that correct?
Yep, that's what it was. Yeah, it was. It felt good because we knew we had to give him everything we had. He was number one qualifier. We was 3, and he had us by about 400s on there. And, yeah, we knew we had to be on our game, and to double up was just unbelievable. I don't know how often you get to double up, but
it's rare. It's like we spoke to Randy Myers earlier this year, or just a couple months ago now, called Dragster, and he had the same similar opportunity you did to run the Rain Out Gatornationals and run for the national event, and he won one of them and was runner up in the other. So almost did it, but you did it.
Yep.
You
So,
pulled it off.
And it was pretty cool because the Wally too from Chicago was the Chrome Wally, and I guess when a track's 25 years old, that's when they give you a Chrome Wally. And so I got one of them.
Right.
I got some pretty neat trophies. I got the Globe, I got the Chrome Wally, the Brass Wally, and the Gator. So it's pretty nice hardware in one weekend.
Yeah, you filled your truck up. That's for sure.
For sure.
There you go. And I tell you, you have a very good team behind you with KSR Racing. Y'all are one of the hardest working teams in the factory shootout. Who's all on your team?
So it starts out with Kim Mapes, KSR, and then it's his son Kimmy Jr. And then you got Craig, and you got Austin back at the shop, and then we have the four founders, and which is me and Jim Betts and Dave Swanson and Jonathan Algarucci, and it's a good team. And then we all have our individual help guys that come with us, and my buddy Kyle goes with us. He's been racing with me back from the circle track days, and so yeah, we just have a good team. Kelsey and Kinsley, that's Kim Jr.'s wife and little girl. They don't miss a race. They're always there helping and doing all the stuff. And we got Jonathan's dad, Nunzi, and you got my kids. And I mean, it's a good operation. And KSR, I'm telling you, is the hardest working crew out there. They, these cars were back in the shop, tore apart on Monday. Every pan come off of them, checking everything, make sure, everything was good, and getting ready for Bristol, and to run at this league was what you got to do, and you got to continually to test and develop because everybody else is chasing you too. And last year we took over the winter. We took my car and one of my motors, and all four of us shared the expense of it. We put 48 passes on an engine. They twice during it pulled the pans off, checked the bearings, because that's one thing we were working on, So the Fords were kind of notorious, and before you get 15, 16 passes on them, it would try to eat the bearings. So what Kim has developed, we've really got the bearing stuff right now figured out, and everything's looking good, and we got a little extra power out of them, and yeah, they're really running good.
Yeah, one of the things that I've noticed, just watching y'all, y'all race in y'all's class, is how close the racing really is. I mean, it comes down to 10,000ths sometimes. Like in the final, you won on hole shot by 53 10,000ths of a second to win that second Wally. But I mean, almost every car that's there, y'all are running 770s, y'all and your competitors. I mean, it is, to me, it's kind of like looking how y'all qualify for y'all's class and looking at the pro stock class. The separation is about the same for factory stock showdown as it is for pro stock. I mean, it's really tight. And, we're talking about you winning your rounds and stuff. And I believe on the, not the Gatornationals, but the Gerber Collision one, you were actually on average of 047, 042. That was your average reaction time was 042. And I think in the semifinals you were 030.
Yeah. Yep.
And in the round before that, you was 027.
Yeah.
So just goes to show you your tree is really grouped, you know.
You got to be on these things. I mean, you got to be on the tree and get consistency. You know, we work on that in the shop too, you know, and because they're so tight and the cars are so close for all three brands.
Mhm.
And they give Chevy Tuesday a pulley, you know, to help
Yeah.
a little bit. I don't totally agree with it, but it's part of the game, you know, is what they do because it kind of disciplines the guys that went out and put the extra effort in to find speed. You know, the Ford, we found some speed. The Dodge guys are finding some speeds, but I really don't think there's anybody out there working that hard in the Chevy program. They're just taking what they got and waiting for a pulley, you know. And I think if you had the right team with the Chevy,
Mhm.
and Lodig's team is the right team to do it, but they're running their same stuff that they ran in 23 because they've been messing with them FX cars and hadn't had time to, you know, practice.
Right.
You watch that Lenny Lodig when he gets this pulley, we'll be chasing him
Oh
because
yeah.
they're starting to work on their factory stock program after this race, you know, and they'll be mean, but you know the other guys they're not working on their program and they're just kind of, you know, follow the leader waiting for a pulley.
Right.
Now, one of the things I did recognize by, you know, looking at qualifying and also through the eliminations is the mile per hour is a little different from some cars to the other. Does NHRA allow what type of gear ratios does NHRA allow y'all to run in y'all's cars?
Well, there's not really a gear ratio rule, but there is an RPM rule.
Okay.
Mhm.
You can't go over 10.2 RPM. So, like, you'll see bigger mile per hour out of a Dodge, but they make their power on, you know, a lot on the top end, you know, because they're, you know, bigger, bigger bore and all that stuff.
Right. Right.
So, and you'll see them guys get up there, you know, 82, 83, sometimes like that. We've been in the 80s before with the Ford, but you know they're more Fords are. If you see my son's 60-foot time, he's in the 115 60-foot in that car.
Ooh. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's nasty.
yeah, he's like, and I've been like high 116, 117 right in there, and but his car is set up a little different than mine. His car is the squat and go, and mine's
Mhm.
separates, and it's just because of weight, you know. He only
Right.
weighs $160, and I weigh a little more than that. So we got to set the cars up different. But I mean, we really got our stuff rolling down low, and that's how you got to do it, you know, because you don't have the top end speed. So
Right. You throw it all at it at as hard as you can at the beginning and let it eat from there. And
yep.
that's something that you and your teammates mentioned to Mitchell and I when we spoke to you at the Gatornationals, and y'all were working and testing on stuff, and you had, and I think three in the first round of qualifying at the Gators, I think 3 or 4 cars went of y'all's guys went down the track, where the fourth one at the hit it spun a little bit, and you're like, well, we were trying something on his. And you know what I mean, and y'all gathered it up. So clearly, that just goes to show that the testing that y'all do, even on qualifying and race day. I know y'all have a game plan, you stick to it, but y'all really do test a lot. I mean, whether it's engine dynoing or actually, like you said, I can't believe that y'all took your car over the winter and did 48 runs on it.
Hard
And
runs too.
yeah, hard runs too. You know. So, did y'all run a full quarter or run just 8th mile?
Well, we did it. You know, we did it all on our chassis dyno. You know, but run it up through like that and do it, and
Got you.
that way you can really you can gauge everything and do everything through it. And once we got that, you know, a year ago, you know, Kim just loves it because you can
Mm-hmm.
back to back stuff every time. Like we're done for the week, we'll put the cars on there and make sure, you know, that they're as good or better than what they were. You know, so
Right.
he can tell you if you get a part and ain't as good as the other one. You know, we gotta go back and work on it. He's got everything down in there. I mean, he knows what does this and what does that, and he's a smart cookie. I'm gonna tell you what. So I'm just fortunate to have him, on my team and all KSR, because I don't think there's a smarter guy out there on the Ford right now than him.
Oh, they're sharp. He and his son are very, very sharp and very down to earth too. Mitchell and I really admired that about him. But here's something Mitchell and I were talking about. Would like to ask you, and we've asked some other people that run shootout cars. What is it like to drive it? Okay, now, and what I mean is it? Obviously, I know you got to stay up on the wheel because you're dealing with a very quick car on a small tire. But how is it to drive? Is it very relaxed, very comfortable, or what?
It's pretty fun. I mean, I the way we got it set, like when my son gets in my car, it's totally different setup than where he's. And DRP's actually poured our seats, on foam, and I set my car a lot different than he's. I'm really up on the wheel of mine, and my knees are collapsed quite a bit and stuff like that. And I just want that positive, when I leave, my hands down on the shifter and I can tap it and go, because I mean, if you miss a shift by a little bit, anything, you can kill these cars so quick. And you got to hit your shift points right, and it happens quick. And as soon as we're through the gears, your hands on the chute, and get down there where you're getting close to the finish line, you pull the chute, then the biggest thing is we got to get them shut off, and because with the pans the way they are on there, it runs it out of oil. So the quicker we can get them shut off at the line, the better that saves that, because what we do is we run out of oil.
Right.
With the pan like that. So we don't have dry sumps on here where it keeps the man, keeps the oil up there. So it's an animal, because I've hurt some motors doing that in the past, just not getting them shut down quick enough.
Right. So, I did not realize it was on D-cell having some problems. But especially, I can't imagine, going as quick and as fast as you are and then hitting right at 10.2 going through the finish line and knowing your sequence of getting this thing woed, parachute, killing the motor, neutral, et cetera, et cetera. So, you got your hands full.
Yeah, before they had that 10.2 rule, we were almost 11 grand in these Fords turning them. And I'm telling you, 10.8, 10.9, 11, they blew up. And I blew up trying it. And that rule was probably the best thing that ever happened is get that. And then you work on your car in the other areas, to try to get the speed and all that stuff. But yeah, that was a good rule, to get that down.
You're all for that rule, right?
Yeah.
It helps everybody. But as far as the development, it's like you mentioned your crew chief Kim and his son Kim that works on there at KSR and on everybody's cars. One of the things that y'all use is big stuff EFI fuel injection system, and we've talked to Ben before. We've interviewed him here, and the fact that we got firsthand feedback from y'all before you even knew that we knew Ben. Okay, just to hear on how much that y'all enjoy the system and the pluses and why. It was very impressive, very eye-opening, honestly, to hear it. So what companies do y'all work with? Because y'all work with quite a few companies, do you not? And
we work with quite a few. Big stuff's definitely, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, the system we got on there, every car's the same. Kim's got one laptop he runs between me and Taylor and Jim. Kimmy runs Al Garucci, but we all share the same stuff. And and having that wireless stuff where we can just plug in and go and get it done. But yeah, that's a huge part to what we do. And then we got Whipple blowers on it, and weld wheels, and RPM transmissions is what I run in my car, and I love RPM transmission. We got Tommy Lee rear gears in them, and they're good pieces.
Yeah, you do. Yes.
Yeah, one of the things that I like the most about big stuff is all the safety parameters that it offers you. to keep you from blowing up your engine. That's a great thing. I talked to Ben about it on the floor of PRI. You may lose the race, with it shutting you down, but look how much money it's saving you in the long run. You can always race another day,
Yes,
but you don't want to have to pull out and replace a bullet.
no, there's a lot of that safety stuff into them, and it really saves parts and stuff like that, and we had to change it O2 on mine right before I ran my boy, and you need that stuff because it makes a difference. And Taylor was a little quicker than me all weekend, and found that O2 was bad and put that O2 up, and I actually went a little bit quicker than him. And he's like, "I think you guys sabotaged me." He said, we never touched the computers on either one. That's the only thing we did.
Well, that's good. A little family rivalry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know he's gonna kick my teeth in soon, so I got to take advantage of while I get it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So how is that rivalry between you and him, and the chances of y'all meeting up in the rounds, having to face one another? Is there some bets going on behind
friendly wagers? Friendly wagers.
Yeah, like
he's competitive as me, let me tell you. And he don't like to lose, and I don't like to lose, and so we both go out there and give it our all. And they interviewed me at the track. I said, "Hey," I don't want him to give me any less, and I'm not giving him any less. We're going out there, we're going to see who's got what and get it done, because we both, it don't matter who wins, we both win. So
True.
Right.
KSR wins. When Jonathan won, KSR won. So it's all about the teamwork. And we're going to get Jim up there. Jim gets a little better on his driving, and he's going to be right up there with us too, because he's got a fast hot rod too. So
I mean, yeah, y'all got a pretty good shelf of hardware going on this year.
Yeah, we're doing. I mean,
three nationals. I think that's right. 3 nationals. On the team.
Great.
So that's a unreal good start. And I tell you something else. So as we were talking to y'all got your hands full with work. Y'all all do so many different things, but you're one of the larger trailer dealers in Ohio, are you not?
Yeah. We're especially race car trailers. We're pretty much. I mean, we got one of the biggest selections in the country actually on race car trailers, and we sell a lot of everyday trailers in Ohio and all that stuff. But yeah, we got 2 trailer lots, one in Ohio, one down Mid-South. I own United Trailers. And then we have JDCC, which is just across the line in Indiana from our shop. And that's where we build the big toter homes and lift gate, big air ride trailers, the custom ones out there. So yeah, that's my passion, is building coaches and trailers, and building them for the racers. That's what we love to do, is, make it custom for each guy with what they want and what their needs, and we just love to build people. And then when we get to see them at the track and help them out and help their buddy figure out their new trailer and, do all that stuff. But the whole group is busy with jobs, but it takes a lot of jobs to pay for one of these cars. So we got to keep plenty of money coming in, because they eat a lot.
Oh, I got you. But you also, I think you also have a collision center. Is that correct? Or a paint shop?
Yep. We got a full collision center, automotive, and we, fix trailers, do everything. I grew up my whole life, I did collision work, and stuff. And so yeah, we have a real good reputation, do quality work, and do a ton of collision work and all that. And we do anything on anybody's trailer, don't matter. We'll fix anything on them. We do body work, frameworks, axles, whatever they need, we fix them.
Well, I wish you lived closer. Well, we live closer to you, because believe it or not, my father and I, we have a later 1990s United gooseneck.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we're the second owner of it, and have had it for a while. We're going to update here pretty soon, but it's just a small world,
Oh yeah.
that you involved with United like that. I'm like going, gee whiz, man. Okay, so long.
Most trailers won't last that long, and that's what I tell people. A good old United trailer will last forever. I've got
It's one of the corrugated sides on it.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. And it's got a couple spots in it, which like anything would, but pretty doggone tough trailer. I got to give credit for that.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean that thing's been up from Indiana all over the Southeast.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Traveling over the years. Matter of fact, it's going up this year to the Tri-Fi at Bowling Green with a Chevrolet wagon in it, but that's a different story. We won't get into that one.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're going to take a little commercial break real quick, and we'll be right back. Again, we're with Jason. He went up to Juliet last weekend and was able to pull out the double. Went home with actually 3 trophies, 2 Wallies and the Gator trophy from the Gatornationals because of the rain delay, where he had to sit around a couple of months and think about finishing up that final. But we'll be right back after these commercials.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
All right, we're back, Jason. Again, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody for watching the podcast tonight, and those who's going to watch it after the fact. Again, if you're just joining us, Jason won both races up at Juliet, the Gatornationals that was rained out, and also the Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals. Yes, it's very, very long, but Jason doesn't care how long it is he walked away with 2 Wallies.
That's right. I got the trophies to prove it.
Yeah, that's right.
You did. Go ahead, Mitchell. Go ahead.
I wanted to talk a little bit with you real quick. I know we're getting close to getting finished. But if someone wanted to go in a route of racing factory stock showdown, where do you think they should actually start the racing career at to work their way up to that level? Because it's something that I believe that people should not just try to jump in one of these cars and take it down the track, or it's going to end in disaster. So do you think it's better for them to maybe start in the bracket racing program, then maybe go to a school like Frank Holly's or Roy Hill's and try to get some more experience in some faster hot rods before making that decision?
Yeah, hands down, stock class, open comp, anything like that is what gets you good. I mean, we run open comp and stock all the time with our 14 Cobra Jets we got. And I think it's, the best racing out there for the money. And everybody thinks that Cobra Jet's expensive and all that stuff, but you can find used Copos and Cobra Jets out there for $50,000-$60,000, and they're really not that bad time you go build a car and do all that stuff. And they're so reliable. I mean, we put 400 or 500 passes on our Cobra Jets before we ever freshen the motors on them.
Wow.
and you can tune that car down, and it's like I took Taylor when he started. We went to Frank Holly's school before he ever made a lap down the track other than in a street car, and went to Frank Holly's. We did that school. We went right from Frank Holly's to Bradenton, and he started racing and open top, and started running them right through there, and I think you still got to keep racing them because a lap in a supercar is very expensive. Every
Right.
time you're down the track, where you can run the other car very reasonable, and you can't beat the time in a car for making your program better. So I would highly recommend get your car like that and go start getting used to it and run all that, and then build yourself up to. And that's what I did too. I did the same thing. I bought a car and started racing and doing all that stuff. And then I wanted to get in this factory supercar, and I went down many paths, with that, to come up with what we got now. But it's definitely a fun class, but you have to have good people.
Right.
I tried to do it on my own and could never make things work with different ones. And a guy told me, he said one time, there's the haves and the have-nots, and the ones that have the pieces, and there's ones that don't. And that's very true. There is nothing to lie. That trailer loads of parts.
Well, and the one thing that I like about the class, Jason, is that it's still kind of young, being around in the NHRA, and a lot of people that, like you said, they run super stock eliminator. They are starting to be, gravitated over to that class, and it won't be long. Hopefully, there'll be 25, 30 cars trying to qualify for an event. I think it's very, very exciting class to watch. It's pretty close of getting to pro stock without having to spend buckloads of dollars to run pro stock. Not saying that factory stock showdown is cheap by any means, but it is a little bit cheaper. And I mean, you're only running a second and a half slower than that class is right now. So, I mean, the cars are quick, and the fans I think are starting to gravitate to it as well. With me and Robert, we could walk around at the Gatornationals, and like I went up to Charlotte just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm starting to see more fans gravitate over to the Sportsman pits more than I ever have. And I think it's because of classes like, Factory X, Factory Stock Showdown. They relate better to those cars because those are cars that they drive as transportation back and forth to work, or they polish them up and they get ready to take them to a car show. And I think that's going to help that class grow over the next couple of years to be a pretty good size class for people to qualify for a field. And the good thing about it, it's not just you can race in national events, but you also have your divisional races that you can take that car and compete in as well.
Yeah, for sure. The cars are so relatable to the fans, and like you say, they love it. They're always coming down in the pits talking to us and all that stuff, and want to see what's under our hood, because they got the cars in there. And I think it's a growing class like this year. When there's new cars coming out, like Josh Hart's got his car out now running with us. That's a plus. And Mo Power is going to build a new drag pack next year, so that's a good thing. Ford needs to build a new car. There's talks about it at Ford of building a new Cobra jet, and that would be great because we haven't had a new car since 18, and we're going to be working on 10 years old here before long, and it would be nice to have some new because cars they're getting thin on cars out there to buy a race. They're with the last Cobra jet we bought out of a guy's collection and took it right to the track and raced it. You know, so yeah. I bought it at Meekum auction, guy's collection. We had it delivered to IRP. We drained all the fluids out of it and did all that stuff. We were racing it 3 hours later, and
That's hilarious.
yeah, I'm sure that wasn't the guy's plan to put it away for 7
Yeah, exactly. When he heard that, he's like,
take a picture and send it to him. Says, "Hey, look what we're doing with your car."
Yep. The other one we bought off a showroom floor a few years ago. Same thing. Brand new, never been moved. Took her to the racetrack. So, yeah, they're making.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I missed that one. I figured coming. I figured you bought them from another team that was already racing with them, is what I thought.
No, and yeah, that's on both of our 14s is what we did. And then the car I have, actually Watson Racing built it for me originally. So yeah, and then both my car and my car was a flood car that they built it out. Yep. And then the one Taylor runs was a car right off the street. Took it there and gutted it, and do all the Cobra Jet cage, everything to them, and build them right up. So, because it's hard to get cars.
Considering the close connection that you had with Watson, you know what I mean, and their involvement with the Cobra Jets, that was really good to be there. Because I was going to ask you, what drew you to Fords? Have you always raced Fords? Or
I'm a Ford guy in and out, so it's
okay.
It's like I haven't always raced Ford because I circle track forever, and I started out with Chevrolets just because the parts were easier to get and all that stuff. And then when I wanted to start going faster, I got a Ford.
I see what you did there. And that's fine. Hey, yeah. I look at it this way. Pistons go up and down the same way they used to. It just don't matter what valve cover's on it.
That's right.
It's like whatever makes you happy. So so you got your started racing in circle track, and then you graduate. Can't say graduated, but changed over to drag racing.
Yeah, I circle track for about 30 years of some. Wow. I started out in 3-wheelers when I was 13. Went to motorcycles, go-karts, then started racing open wheel modifieds. Went to late models, ran ASA cars, all that stuff, and then. You get older and your buddies get older and you start losing all your help you got there. And I'd never been to a drag race in my life. And I'm like, well, maybe it's trying. And I had a Doug Thompson, a friend of mine, he kept saying, you need to go drag racing. I'm telling you, the business over there is way better for your trailer business. So in 16, I bought my first car, and me and my buddy Kyle, we drove to Norwalk, and hell, we didn't know which end of the racetrack it was. We literally knew nothing. We didn't even take something out. We went over there, had a good time, and then, got hooked into it, and I've been doing it ever since. So, yeah, it's good. I went back every now and then and do a circle track race for somebody, but not much anymore. Just drag racing. I really like it.
Well, that's cool. If you got to turn left, it's just make sure you're slow enough to do it. You know what I mean right now. But if you had to, you could advert back to what you used to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Did you run on asphalt or on dirt?
Yeah, asphalt.
Asphalt. Okay.
Yep.
Man, oh man. Well,
my nephew, he's been racing ever since he was 6 years old. Nice. And he's 18 now, and he's starting to run a few races here and there for a team. And a late model.
Nice.
So,
and he's been running Legends as well.
Oh yeah.
He is really good too. Really humble young man. He and his family all work hard in Florida, and they race in Charlotte. So
Charlotte, Hickory, all those tracks all up there is where they usually have to go. Anderson, South Carolina, I tried to introduce him over to drag racing. I got him and my brother to bring him out to the Gatornationals like a year ago. And the first thing came out of his mouth was like, wow, the access is unreal. You could just walk up to everybody. And he said, it's not like that in the circle track world. I says, no, it's not. Definitely not like that in NASCAR. No. I mean, almost all the places are restricted areas, only for certain people could go in there. But he really liked it, but I couldn't talk into coming over to the dark side.
Hey, he'll get old someday like me, and you're only good for 7 seconds. So, you got to go race Traeger.
Yeah, and you just like cleaning the outside of the car. You don't like replacing the panels every other week.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. But I tell you, and we know you're very, very busy, but how can people get a hold of you at your trailer companies and your businesses?
Just get a hold of us at 419-298-0777. Jason Dietsch, trailersales.com. Give us a call and we'll take care of you. And if you need me, you can call me on my cell, 419-769-6365.
Oh my goodness, he just gave it out.
I did.
I'm going to be calling you tomorrow.
My wife tells me I'm 24/7 trailer salesman, and I am.
That's good to hear. Because we saw on your website that not only do you sell new trailers, you sell, I think you have a couple used ones or overstock perhaps, but you sell parts and maintenance and you got a big place. You got a big lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We sell 80 to 100 trailers every month, and at the Ohio location, and sell 30, 35 down our Mid-South location, and then we build a ton of them at United. So it's we build a couple thousand up there every year. So yeah, we breathe and street trailers. And we got, what's nice is at the end of the race season is a lot of guys with rigs from all over the country, they bring them to us to get them done for the winter. So if they want to get a hold of us now and set up an appointment, say, I want to come in, I got a punch list of 10, 15 things I want to get done. I want an axle service, but I want this fixed. And they drop them off, and we take them to the airport, and they fly back home. And then when we get it done, we call them, and they come and pick them up. But, yeah, we do that. We stay really busy all year long doing that.
Yeah, and I tell you, maintenance on a trailer is just as important as maintenance on your race car or the rest of your rig that you're going to pull that trailer to the track. Because you can be in some dangerous situations if you don't repack those wheel bearings like they're supposed to. It become you can lose not just your trailer but your whole racing operation. Actually,
we had a guy pull in today. He was coming from Chicago going to New York for a road race, and he come in there on 3 wheels a day, axle tore up and all that stuff. It's like, a lot of people don't pay attention to that stuff, and it bites them. You gotta keep up on your maintenance. It's cheap security when you're out on the road. Put tires on every couple of years, keep it up so you can keep down the road and got safer.
Agreed. We Mitchell and I have watched so many come in like you just said, and back axle hanging off of it, rear fender's gone because it just ate tires up, and it have that glowing red light on the hub.
Don't touch
fix me now. We've seen all those. But do you work on other trailers or only United and ATCs or what?
We work on everybody's. It don't matter what brand you got, we'll work on it. So you can handle everything from obviously suspension, brakes, axles, tires, bodywork, lights, accommodations. You can handle it. Yep, whatever they need. We add Starlinks to them, whatever they want, TVs, remodels, stuff like that. So we can do it all.
And the most important thing, if people's watching this and you have a trailer and it doesn't have this, one of the most important things to get is a GPS for your trailer. That way, if it gets stolen, it can be tracked, and you can hopefully get your trailer back with all the belongings in it before the thieves go through it. So just wanted to put that out there. Please get you a GPS for your trailer. It'll save you a lot of headaches, I can promise you, especially if you can track it down and get it back with law enforcement. Don't do it by yourself. Get law enforcement involved.
Right.
And go get your trailer back. But I know we're fixing to get off of here. I know you got a busy schedule. And there's just one little thing I wanted to ask you with the Super Grip Thunder Valley Nationals coming up. With these 2 wins that you recently got up in Juliet, how much momentum or what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, with momentum is that you believe is going to carry over when y'all go to Thunder Valley in a couple of weeks?
Well, I think we got big momentum on our team right now, and I did a lot of different forms of racing over the years. And when you're up on your game, you got to stay up on your game. The hard part's getting there. If you get there, you got to try to stay there. So I think I drive my best when we're up on there, like that, of anything I've ever drove. And when you got the performance of KSR behind you, and the desire them guys want to, I'm hoping we can keep this streak going. So
yeah, the confidence spreads to everybody. That was actually the word I was trying to get out. But yes, the confidence of you winning those two events spread out throughout the team at KSR, knowing that just everyone there has the opportunity of taking one of those Wallies to the house.
Yep, we got to get Jim and Taylor or Wally at this year, so and that way all the team guys won, and that's a big deal, and because we're all in it together, and don't matter which one wins, we're happy, and we want to be all there together. We want to have to beat each other out to get to there, so that's what it's about.
And I want to tell everybody, if you're going to Thunder Valley for the Nationals, don't leave the stands after the pros get finished running. Stay there and watch these other sportsman classes.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of great racing still to be had. I mean, of course, if you're thirsty and hungry, go grab you a hot dog and get you a Coke and get back to the stands immediately and sit up there and watch some really great racing. To me, some of the sportsman racing is just as close and as good as the professional ranks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's what I love to do, is go up there and watch all the sportsman guys run and stuff like that. I mean, it's great to see, and you see that in the stands where a lot of them just clear out. I'm like, man, you don't realize you're missing Pro Mod, you're missing us and all that. You're missing the best racing I think's there,
Agreed. Agreed.
Them other ones are just noisemakers, I call them. I like Pro Stock and the bikes, and then come down to us. But them other ones are just noisy.
Pipe racks and all that stuff. You're like, I can do without those.
Yep, exactly. I want to park as far away from that noise as I can get.
Well, and when you think of Factory Stock Showdown in those classes, of course, you mentioned Josh Hart. He runs Top Fuel. He's Dublin. In the past, Leah Pruitt. She's raced different classes as well. So there is a draw for the professional drivers to go back over and run sportsman. I mean, you got Aaron Stanfield.
Mark
he was running Factory Stock Showdown. He's won Factory X. So
Mark Falk too.
Yes,
yes. World champ. Yeah, run Pro Stock. You run Sportsman, run Pro Stock, and then run Factory Shootout. So yeah, and he definitely said the reason that he had such an appeal is it worked out better for his family and his work schedule and the competition. He absolutely just loves it. So
yeah, it's a good deal, and the schedule's like perfect for people with businesses and all that stuff. 8 races is enough for us. We can go catch another race here or there or something else, but that's like the perfect schedule when you're trying to run a business and all that stuff. And you can get out and do it and have a good time and tough competition. It's not country club racing for sure. You better have your shit together because you got to have it.
Yeah, because somebody else will, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you don't have yours together, somebody else will. But Jason, I tell you what, we're going to look y'all up at Indy.
Yep.
When we come up there, and I know y'all very busy, and thank the missus for being patient with us tonight. We know y'all have a schedule going on, so thank y'all very much. But also want to tell everybody, hey, you need any kind of trailer work, Jason Dietsch, trailer sales, look him up.com, and just give him a call. I give you his phone number. Okay, any kind of trailer work that you need, any new trailers that you need, look them up. They'll take care of you. They got their hands in everything, for goodness sakes. The more you're telling me, it's insane.
Yep.
But wanted to tell you, thank you very much for you coming on, and we wish you and your family and all of KSR and everybody associated with them nothing but the best. And good luck at Bristol.
All right.
And happy birthday.
All right. Hopefully we get on again. So
I was going to leave that part, give them a little delay there, so it wouldn't be flooded. But happy birthday to you, Jason.
all right. Thank you guys. See you later.
All right.
have a
Take
good
care.
night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. I tell you what a great guy, and like I said, that class has continued to build a lot of great racing. And, if you haven't watched it, if you want to see how close some of the racing is, you can always go to NHRA.com, go to the race results, click on Factory Stock Showdown, go through there, go to the detail results, and everything's broken down for you. And you may be really surprised at, these drivers and how skilled they are, and also all the hard work that goes in to these cars to make them run the way they do. I mean, almost every car in the class, you might as well say, is 770s.
Yes.
And sometimes they'll dip into the high 760s.
Right.
Just a really great, fun class to watch. And I really mean it. If you go to Bristol, you really need to sit in the stands and watch these cars run. You'll be really shocked.
Yeah, they're very, very impressive. And when you walk around them and look at them, you see the attention to detail. And just like Jason said, and you mentioned also, Mitchell, they're completely relatable. The bodies are untouched.
Right.
Okay, they're not chopped, they're not channeled, they don't have wide body kits on them. They're not loaded with carbon fiber. They don't have any of that stuff. They're factory sheet metal, and they weigh it too. 35, 30, some of them, I think 3,600 pounds, I think, some of them. But on a 9-inch tire with a factory style suspension under the rear, meaning it's factory attachment points and all that stuff. They're not all 4-linked and stuff like the FX cars and stuff, and stock front suspension. And like he said, they're getting down, high 1-teens and 60 foot, and running out the back, high 760s, low 770s at 180, sometimes 180 plus. That's cooking. And I don't care what you have, Ford, Chrysler, Chevrolet, that is cooking.
Yeah. What is really great about this class, Robert, you just mentioned it. A lot of people complain about Pro Stock. It's mostly all Chevrolets and stuff. Right. But this class has the big three manufacturers in USA. You got Ford, Chevy, and Mopar, Dodge, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Competing for Wally's. And so you don't see a whole lot of that, in other classes.
You don't.
Stock Eliminator and Super.
Right. But you're talking about of the big three, door cars. You just don't. And you're absolutely right. Shootout is the only one that is representing all three manufacturers. And, and there's always a give and take as the season goes on. The NHRA Tech does, if they feel that somebody needs a little bit of help to level out the playing field. Like Jason mentioned, this past week, they allowed the Chevrolets to change their pulleys. I think they'll make like an 1/8 inch smaller or something like that, which will give them a couple more pounds boost. I don't know the exact number, but they're doing that to try to level them up, because over the last couple races, the Fords and the Chrysler were, I don't know, I'm just going to say a good average 500s, probably 500s, quicker on an average compared to the GMs. Just guessing, of course. But like I said, you're right. You typically, from 1 to 16, it's less than 1/10 of a second in qualifying. Okay. And any given day, because just like Jason said, he was come into that final round. He was number 3 qualifier. The other guy had 400s on him. He was number 1 qualifier. So Jason and Kimmy hit all the up keys they could find on the big stuff tuned engine. And he took a swing at the tree, and he got a little bit on the tree, and it worked. He beat him by less than 100th, and the guy had 200s of ET on him. So he got it by a hole shot. So he got up on the wheel and did his deal. But like I said, any given day, you and I have stood right there next to him on the starting line. And I mean, there are some finicky, touchy animals. They are trying to get him to leave on that small of a tire. And you could tell by a half a car to a car if it's gone. I mean, and boy, they get it too.
Well, and like you said, KSRs, their cars are actually not set up the same. Like his
Right.
son, it digs down and takes off, and his doesn't.
Right.
So they're and that's all set up for, I guess, pretty much for driver's preference, how he
Yes,
wants the car to take off and the characteristics of the car to be able to make it down the track and be very competitive with everyone else.
Agreed. I mean, but like you said, they all share information, and they do. We sat right there amongst them, and they were all discussing stuff, and it wasn't like, they kind of go off in their trailer and hide. They're like going, nah, they're sharing tickets and showing everything on the computer and stuff like that. Mine helped here. Well, hey, next time we're at home, we need to change this and this on your car or whatever. Right. And so they got a really good conglomerate that's come together and working. And it shows. I mean, they put I was very, very impressed when they were telling us what they were doing, not only off season, but during the season, the testing, the thrashing, and not only the maintenance, but just trying things. And because they got that desire to go quicker and faster, and they're all putting that effort in.
It's part of the game.
Yes, it is.
Every team's doing it. Doesn't matter if they're running top fuel all the way down the pro stock motorcycle and beyond. Always trying to find that little amount that can help you go just a tick quicker than you were before.
Right. That's our whole desire to play in this game. And people call sometimes they call them lucky. To me, oh, you're lucky and lucky. Like those guys there, I'm like going, no. When preparation meets opportunity, there's your luck. And they were there. When I say there, I mean they were there going rounds. They put the effort in. Chips fell just right. So that's great. I'm happy for them, and look forward to seeing them all at Indy and seeing how they're all going to stack up there in that terribly hot time of year in August. To see how they perform up there. And I'm talking about all the shootout cars.
Well, one good thing, Robert, it is a little cooler up there in August than it is in Florida. Majority of the time.
Would you believe it's a dry heat?
Yes.
It's still the center of the sun. I don't care what anybody says. Middle of the day, man, with no cloud cover, and it's just like this. That it's right there. The sun is like right there, and and it's not like there's any shade on that track either. So it's part of it.
Well, I'll just make sure while we're walking around, we're interviewing drivers in the pits and stuff, that you're holding an umbrella over my head.
Don't laugh. I'm going to have my hat on. I'm going to have my big hat on. So you might be dealing with your own umbrella because I'll be wearing mine. But it works. It works. But no, I tell you what, that's a really great group to get. And again, we apologize to the KSR team from earlier this year. We did interview them all at the Gatornationals and had a great time, but we had an unforeseen technical difficulty where it just didn't pick up audio. And we didn't discover it till everybody had already dispersed. And like I said,
I was actually really upset with it for about a month because it was such a great interview of going through and talking to each one of them and talking about the walks of life, where they came from, getting involved in drag racing. And each one of them pretty much had some similarities and some differences. And that's what made it so great. But yeah,
Agreed.
just a great class and a great class of guys to talk to. And hopefully we'll get that opportunity either in Indianapolis or maybe back at the Gatornationals or some other event to take them in the media room and have that opportunity to go back over what did not transpire.
And try again.
Yeah, try again. Because I think we owe them that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was a really great interview, and Robert, you done a great job. I had you headline it while I was actually behind the camera,
And no one will ever know, which means it never happened.
Yeah,
There's no
the thing.
proof.
That's why we got to do a do over and get all that information out.
The fact that whole group really worked with us and bent over backwards to come and meet us and stuff like that in between the rain and everything like that. So yes, I believe we absolutely do owe them that as a sign of thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, homegrown son. Yes, I hope it is. I hope it works out to be that way.
Yep.
I really do like walking in the pits and having the opportunities to walk up the drivers and interview them. I try to catch them when they're not busy. They're finished service in their car. That's the best time to go up there while they're finished service in the car. They got a few minutes before they get called up to the lanes for the next round of qualifying, next round of eliminations. Usually we try not to talk to anybody during the eliminations because that can be a very stressful time.
Right.
So we try to do everything during qualifying. And if you go back, you can look at some of our interviews at Charlotte. They were killer. Getting to talk to Dylan Voss, Lyle Barnett.
Right. Wheelbarrow Racer.
What's that?
Wheelbarrow Racer.
Yeah, and with Vincent Noville, a really great opportunity to talk to him. We went over those differences and similarities between Mountain Motor Pro Stock and Pro Stock. And he's raced both classes, and so he had a real good point of view. And I still really appreciate him taking out the time for that. All those drivers for taking the opportunity of speaking with us up there in Charlotte.
And it's funny. It's funny you mentioned Lyle Barnett because right now they're racing up at Shadyside at the Ronnie Bluff Memorial, and I just saw Beer Money go down the track. So
you know who was out there yesterday in Beer Money?
No, who?
Cletus.
No.
Yeah, Cletus was sitting in the seat of Beer Money, had his helmet on, had his GoPro stuck to the helmet.
Oh, that wasn't up at Shadyside, was it?
I think they were testing and stuff. And Cletus, I know he flew up there to go see Greg Biffle this week, and I guess they decided to take a little trip down to Shadyside, and I guess he wanted to see what it was like to drive Beer Money down the track.
Because I got it turned down. Obviously, I got the volume turned down, but and they're prepping the track again. Many passes after them, but I was like going, okay, there's Beer Money right there, and made a good lick. Of course, they got clocks off at that race, but
yeah,
little slow down low compared to everybody else, but it more than made it up on the back end. But that's a Harold tuned setup too.
Oh yeah, Pete Harold, man, just an awesome guy. He could tune a fish, I think.
He might have. He might have. But also, hey, I wanted to tell everybody thank you because we've now reached another goal. We've On the Spot Motorsports Media Facebook page has now exceeded 21,000 followers. Wanted to say thank you and continuing to grow. And also wanted to say thank you. We're continuing to grow on the YouTube channel. We're now at 700 subscribers. We've gained quite a bit since the beginning of the year. I want to say thank you for that, and we're continuing to grow. So we ask you that if you haven't subscribed over on YouTube, please do it. Please go over there and do that. And also, you can also follow us on Spotify. All these interviews are uploaded on YouTube, and they're also going to be uploaded in another day or two to Spotify. So if that's one of your preferred platforms, you can go to it and listen.
Yeah, one of the things I'm going to start doing. We actually did it this weekend. It was kind of late notice. We put out there, if you share and like the page and you had the chance of guessing your driver, that was actually going to win the All-Star race, and the person who won was going to get a gift card, $20. Now, we had some people that came in, gave us some names, but unfortunately, none of those drivers won.
Second, second. I think the closest
yes,
one.
we have one guy, Justin Lee, and he picked Joey Logano, and Joey Logano just came up a couple of laps shy of getting a win, but he was close. But we'll have that same opportunity. I'm going to see if we have that opportunity this weekend. I'm going to look. If so, I'm going to put out a small video on our Facebook page, and it will be shared over to Instagram. There's no purchase necessary. All you have to do is like it, share the post, make sure that you follow our page, guess your driver. If that driver wins, you will be put in a pot, because there's going to be probably an opportunity that several people's going to get the same driver name right. So those people get put in a pot, and we'll draw out a winner, and that person will win a gift card.
Correct. It's just our little way starting out to saying thank you and doing something to give back to you. And like I said, we appreciate what everybody is doing and supporting us and backing us and calling us up and suggesting who to talk to and who or some other people to interview and stuff. And we've done that. We've listened to you. We've reached out to several people, and it's like we have several other, I think, some really good interviews lined up, very diversified. And I'm not going to name names either right now, because we have some others lined up who are on some different motorsports that we've never interviewed before.
Right.
And which I really look forward to. Hopefully we can get something nailed down there. So we're looking forward to it. So I wanted to say once again, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions for us, please reach out to us. Please tell us. Don't throw anything at us. That hurts. Just reach out to us.
And would you mention that, we got Rocky Platt that's going to be joining us next Thursday. Runs Southeast Gasser Association, and we've had now, he'll be our third driver that we've had on that races there, and each one of them has a little unique story of how they got involved in drag racing and running in the Southeast Gassers Association.
Especially
and, Rocky, we had him. Wait.
I was saying Rocky Platt comes from a very well-known racing family. Right. Houston and Hubert Platt, Georgia Shaker fame, down here in the Southeast, from back in the late 50s, 60s, and up into, I think, into the early 70s. Okay, really, really, really wonderful family history. And then him being involved with the Southeast Gassers, and he helps with the association, helps Leslie Horn and crew run the association, but also his main focus has been in the AFX, and that's right. What he races in as an A Factory experimental class, which has very similar rules compared to the other classes, meaning manual shift only, has to be cars of that era, straight axle, but the difference I know for sure is the wheelbase has to be altered, because AFX cars had altered wheelbases. Okay, they also are allowed up to a 9-inch tire of a certain spec, whereas you're allowed a 10.5 in the Gasser class and a 7-inch in the Superstock class, which was as per the rules back then. Right. And most of them are mechanical fuel injected, and that is a very unique feature. He primarily runs Fords. He runs Falcons and things like that, and they are really cool. They are really cool. But he also his family, I should say, runs Fords, but he runs a replica. I want to say it's a replica 65 Nova of. It's not Don Hardy. The name escapes me. One of the car builders of that era, and it's almost like a one-off. It's a fastback 65 Nova. which the factory built some like fiberglass replicas back in that era for this kind of racing.
I tell you what, if Cletus called me up to come down there and jump in the Dale truck and do burnouts, I'll be making a trip down there to the Freedom Factory to do some burnouts.
He probably doesn't mean you. He probably means Lyle. He probably means Lyle jumping in to drive one of his cars. And I think he'd be good, but I like to see him drive Leroy. That's what I would like to see Lyle run as Leroy. Because
And that's one person I would like to get on the show. I would love to get Cletus on the show and just talk about, he does that. He's been everything, doing podcasts. He's been running the ARCA cars. I mean, you name it. He's been behind the steering wheel.
Stadium trucks.
Yeah, stadium trucks.
Jet boats. You know what I mean? Dega Bega going through the what's that road up there in Tennessee? Tail of the snake. What do they call it?
Tail of the dragon.
Tail of the dragon. Taking it through the tail of the dragon. That was entertaining by itself. Just to see that. The man and his family has just built an empire, and they're doing a phenomenal job. Yep. And wish them nothing but the best. He and his family and everything they're doing. He's got his hands in everything, which is great. Like I said, we just want to tell everybody, thank y'all very much for everybody's support.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, who knows? If his son wants to turn left, he'll be in something that turns left. But that opportunity, I'm sure, will be there for whatever they might be. But wanted to tell everybody, thank y'all very much. We've been very busy this year. And we enjoy it, but we've been very busy. And Mitchell puts in a lot of work behind the scenes on the articles that he writes. And so I want to say, Mitchell, thank you very much, because, I mean, your effort is appreciated for sure. And if I could
it's not really work when it's fun.
Yeah, but in the middle of the night when you call me up, what do you think about this? And I'm over there covered in dirt because I got my car apart, trying to fix something,
Well, my best ideas of writing a story comes about 2 a.m.
I can see that. I get ideas, but then I'm working on stuff, so there's no way to follow up on that. But it's part of it.
Oh, yeah.
But really, everybody, want to tell everybody, thank you very much for everything. And like I said, we got a lot of things planned in the future. So Lord willing, we'll be able to do those things. And like I said, we're looking forward to the next adventure and the next interview.
Yeah. Oh, and mention of new people, we have Taylor Kitchen. And Taylor Kitchen, I actually met her in Charlotte, and she has a podcast and a page called Above the Yellow Line, which they're mostly into circle track racing, as you can tell, above the yellow line. But we have her coming on that looks like planned for the 19th of June. And we're going to talk a little bit about their experience that they had at Charlotte. They were invited to come out there and experience everything and do interviews, kind of like what we do with drivers. And, I like to kind of dive into what they do for circle track. So they don't just, take care of ARCA and Xfinity Series trucks and all of that stuff, but they also dive into dirt track racing, super late models. So they are well expanded when it comes to circle track racing. And so really looking forward to having her on. She was just a super nice young lady, and she's really got something going over there above the yellow line. And they even dive into a little bit of die cast collecting, cars and stuff, which is one of her hobbies. You can tell because when she's sitting there doing her show, I mean, she's got cases of NASCAR die cast, kind of pretty much like I do in here.
I was going to say, you got a pretty diverse collection yourself.
Yeah. But just really looking forward to that. And, and trying to help her expand her followers on her page, and hopefully that will also help us, and vice versa. But yeah, we want to thank everybody who watched us tonight. If you're just coming on late, please start at the beginning. Just a really great show of the breakdown of the Gatornationals, Gerber, Collision, and Glass, NHRA, Route 66 NHRA Nationals, presented by Peak, by the way. So yeah, it's one of the longest probably national event
titles
that there are. Yeah, exactly right.
It would have to wrap around the trophy. There's no way that it would just give me this line after line after line on the plaque. Like, gee whiz, people. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
So until next Thursday, don't forget the show. We got Rocky Platt coming on. And then we also have some racing at the end of that weekend. We go back to Gainesville Raceway for the Scorpion Racing Products ET Series that both me and Robert participate in. And so far, I've got a win this year. Robert's got a win, and hopefully we can go out and grab a couple of more before the season's over. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty. I think there's only a total of 6 races left, and that'll be the end of the season because we do not race in the ET Series in July and August. So it gives us a little break to, work on our cars, beat the heat a little bit, and also go on vacation with our families. But
also, if you want to experience a little bit of what it's like to race with Mitchell and I, you can go on the OTS page or also Simpson Competition YouTube channel, and you can see I put together a little video of Mitchell and I racing each other, camera in his car, camera in my car, and what it's like to race each other. And I tell you, because we were both there, it was tight. It was very tight, and actually Mitchell took the finish line ahead of me. The only thing that saved me is he broke out a little more than I did. Yeah. That was it.
I was on the brakes a little bit, but not enough.
So I'm like, but I tell you what, go back and watch that video. It's not long. It's about 3.5 minutes, but you get just a little bit of what it's like racing against each other. And it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
And I think the neatest thing is you can hear me dragging the brakes
when you're staging
as I'm bumping into stage to car. And that's a really neat thing that it picked up, because that is exactly what it sounds like to my ears why I'm trying to get in.
And the only thing the camera doesn't pick up is I could see you ever so slightly turning your head, and I know you were looking in the mirror. I know exactly what you were doing. And then you turn your head, and I know your peripheral picked me up, and I knew what you were doing because I was staring right at you too, and so I knew what you were doing.
That's bracket racing. You got to drive both ends of the track.
Yeah. But I tell you, it's a lot of fun. So we just tell everybody, if you get an opportunity, go watch it. You might enjoy it.
Come over to On the Spot Motorsports Media if you can't get to a track right away, and watch our event on Saturdays and Sundays. You can watch it on Facebook, or you can watch it on YouTube. So 2 great opportunities. So if you got a smart TV, I advise you to go to YouTube and watch it on there. And please, if it's your first time, please subscribe. But until next time, we want to thank everybody, and we will see you next Thursday night with Southeast Super Gas Association driver.
Southeast Gasser Association.
Thank you. It's a tongue twister. Trying to keep up with all these organizations. Whew, it's rough.
Yeah.
But again, thank you, and we'll look for you next Thursday. And everyone, please be safe, take care, and have a Memorial Day with your family, and remember those for the reason of the holiday. A lot of people lost their lives for us to have the freedoms that we have. So
Agreed. Until next time, everybody, we hope you all have a good night.
drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition and a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at bigstuff3efi.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.